Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 6A, and I have a couple of raised beds that I have to put together, 2 to be precise. They are some of the Birdies raised beds that I have, not surprisingly, spray painted pink. I wanted a little bit of an accent with my cement raised beds, and I thought these would be perfect because I do have a couple of other corrugated raised beds. This is probably the 3rd brand of raised beds that I have, because I have a couple of Vigo gardening beds and then I have a couple of Frame It All corrugated raised beds as well. So this is 5 and 6 of the corrugated raised beds, but this is not going to be too complicated. These things never really are. You just have to screw those all together and then place the top piece. I might have to do a little bit of leveling, but we'll figure that out as we get there. But otherwise, I'm just going to probably put you with some background music and we're just going to watch this thing happen, and then I'll show you the overall look of how these things fit into the garden. Okay, so what I've done is there are 5 pieces. This is pretty much, if it was square, it would be a 3x3, and it's, I believe, 17 or 18 inches. I can't quite remember. I'd have to look back at my order sheet, and I don't have that with me. But I have done both the top and bottom bolts on all of the connection points, because that is the easiest way for me as just me to put this all together without multiple hands. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do all of the rest of the bolts, and then they have this fancy dancy little thing that I'm going to tighten everything with, because right now I'm just hand tightening them, and I'll have the top part to put on and just put it in place and it's done. I did that in about, I don't know, 4 minutes, if even that. So this is going to go quick. Good news is there's a lot of extra bolts, especially since I was doing this over top of mulch. Probably not the best idea, but there's extra bolts. I will tell you right away what I like better about the Vigo beds and the Frame It All beds is this cap piece. isn't plastic on those beds. It's more of a rubber material, but this feels like pure plastic, and I'm not entirely sure I like it. But and here's where I always get screwed up, is trying to get the overlapping piece. Technically, these are both the same on both sides. There we go. I'm just curious how long this plastic is going to last in my climate. Simply because it cools and it thaws. And I don't even know if this is enough material to go all the way around. But we are going to find out, I suppose. Plastic usually has a tendency to only last about 2 years out here if you leave it outside all year round. So I'm wondering if at some point, if this starts to give out on me, if I can buy replacement parts from Vigo or Frame It All and cap it with the same stuff. I went with the birdies because they had the correct size I wanted and the correct height, which is pretty much why I have 3 different brands of corrugated raised beds. Okay, now it's cutting this at the right spot. There we go. Perfect. Now I just got to get the placement right. Well, I think this is okay for now, at least until I get the other bed put together and I try to somewhat mirror this. Problem is, I kind of want to align with this bed over here, but I want to keep the curve. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to push this back a little bit more so I can kind of keep this walkway. I don't know. On to the next one. These are both of my Vigo raised beds. I believe they're 18, no, not 18, 8 inches tall. And it's actually 3 sets, but I made a super long bed right here. I have a video of me putting those beds together up on my channel. I think I did these about 2 years ago, if you want to go check that out. Otherwise, I have these 2 raised beds here, which are from Frame It All. And like I did the new beds, I spray painted this bed right here. I think about 3 or 4 years ago is when I did this set of beds. I might even have a video for these up on my channel too. I'm not entirely sure, but that's how the new ones are gonna look in about 3 or 4 years. Still got some of that bright pink, but it's muted a little. It's less of the magenta and more of the Barbie pink. I might have to touch it up at some point. And I did kind of cheat on this bed. Didn't paint every single panel because I knew there was 2 of them that was going to be facing the house. And I can kind of show you that. If I can get back here. Yeah, so you can see the original cream color. And then while I'm here, I can show you this edging. This is that rubber, and I think there's like a guide wire in it. And I like this a lot better than the plastic I just put on the Birdie's raised beds. But then I have this super tall raised bed that I'm still trying to figure out. This is probably like 2.5, possibly 3, I don't know. But it was a monster to fill up. And I still haven't quite mastered growing in this one yet, but I'm determined to do it this year. So yeah, those are all my corrugated raised beds. I think that probably took me an hour altogether to do. So between the 2 beds and then sort of semi-leveling the ground, about an hour, which isn't bad. I mentioned that I still need to fill it. I have some ideas in mind of what I want to fill it with, and then topping the rest of these beds off at the same time. But I'm going to live with these where they're at for probably, I don't know, the next week or so, and then get that permanent location down and start filling it with soil. We'll see how it weathers without anything in it. I want to get stuff in that fast because I don't want the wind and the rain and everything else to do too much damage before I've got everything set up the way I want it to. And I guess if you want to see how things fill out in that bed, what I end up planting in it, or just how the general next garden season goes, subscribe down below, hit the bell to do all the things to get all of the notifications. And I do also have an Instagram and Threads account, so you can check me out over there as well if you want. If you don't, no judgment. I am going to be starting seeds in a couple of weeks, which is kind of why I wanted to put these beds out. Plus, this is the first warm day we've had for quite a while. It's 40 degrees and no wind. It is glorious out here and I am absolutely loving it. I kind of actually just want to stay out here, but I gotta get back to work. So I hope I will see you again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.